In the beginning of the story, we see some boys who were wearing masks, because today was Halloween night. Halloween was a festival in which people used to wear different kinds of clothes and masks. Now all these boys were running after someone to kill. That thing was actually a person who looked like a scarecrow. Scarecrow is the one that is often planted in the fields to avoid the attack of animals. The townspeople said that it is only an entity, a bad soul, which looks like a scarecrow and wakes up in the fields on Halloween night every year. And everyone knew that soul by the name of Sawtooth. When Sawtooth wakes up, he starts going towards a church so that he can ring the church bell. So every year the job of the young boys of this town is to kill him and stop him from going to the church. And the boy who kills him, he was given a reward in return. So now all this was going on. Today, Halloween night also starts. Sawtooth wakes up from the fields and goes towards the church. But many boys who were waiting for him so that they can hunt him, they run after him. Now a boy catches him and kills him and starts eating him. Many candies were coming out of Sawtooth's body, which the boy was enjoying eating. Why was this? We will find out in the next story. This boy wins. Now the owner of the town gives him a very big reward, in which there was a car and money to travel the whole world. Along with that, a lot of money is also given to his family. That boy was very happy after winning so much and leaves to travel the world with his new car. In that boy's family, there was his mom, dad, and his younger brother, whose name is Richie. He also wanted to go out with his brother, but he refuses to take Richie with him. Now the story comes a year later and is shown 5 days before Halloween. Richie, whose brother had left him in this town. When he was passing outside the theater one day, he sees a girl whose name is Kelly, who had just shifted to this town. After this, Richie goes to his school, where a police officer was telling all the boys that Halloween is coming. Hunting Sawtooth is not an easy thing. Many of you boys can lose their lives, but we have to stop him somehow. Once, when we failed to stop him, there was a big destruction in our town. It took us a lot of time to get out of it. That's why 3 days before Halloween, all the boys are stopped from hunger and thirst, and they will be taken out only on Halloween night, so that they can hunt Sawtooth as bloodthirsty monsters. And whoever wins this year will also be given money for the latest car and to travel the world. But in this game, only one boy from each family can take part once. Now Richie was going to break this rule, because he wanted to prove that he is also brave like his brother, just like we saw in the beginning of the story. In the same school, a boy who was exactly a copy of Richie's brother is jealous of Richie, because he also wanted to be equal to him, and he was in the process of proving himself brave. As the rule of this game was that only one boy from each family can take part once. So Richie's brother had already taken part, but Richie still wanted to take part forcibly. That's why there is a fight with that boy who didn't want Richie to take part in this game. Now the officer comes and throws both of them out of the town. Now the story of Sawtooth was spread all over the town. Someone used to believe this a lot, but many people think this is a lie. They used to believe that there is nothing like that. But those who used to believe, they used to believe that they saw Sawtooth, which is very dangerous. Now Richie comes out of the school, but the boy who fought with him in the class was still behind him. That's why Richie came to Kelly in the theater. She gives him popcorns and bottles, because he also started liking Richie. Richie asks him that today is Halloween night. So you are coming to the dance, right? On which Kelly says that no, because I am black, so no one called me. He says to him, "Let me win once. I will kill Sawtooth and get everything. And then we will travel the world." After which, Richie comes back and meets his friends. One friend was very scared of him, while the other brave wanted to win through Richie. It would have been possible if Richie had taken part in the game. That's why he was provoking him. He says that you have to prove to everyone that you are no less than your brother. You can also do everything. That's why Richie gets ready to take part in the game. He also talks to his mom and dad about this, but his mom and dad refuse him. Richie's dad explains to him many times. When Richie does not listen, this time his dad slaps him hard. But now Richie was adamant that he would hunt Sawtooth at last. After all, why were Richie's mom and dad refusing him? What was the secret behind this? That's why Richie gets a letter from his brother. And he also gets a card, which he often used to send to him. After this, Richie comes out of his house, where he meets his brother's friend, who was still waiting for her brother, who had not come around the world yet. Richie's mom wanted that girl to forget her son and move on in her life. In the meantime, we see a former farmer who was hanging a scarecrow in the fields, and he was going to become Sawtooth by being alive on Halloween night. How was this possible? We will learn all this slowly in the story. One day when Richie was going to school, he meets the same boy on the way, who often bothered him in school. He still stops Richie and beats him completely, and takes the belt off his pant and takes it away. This belt was given to him by Richie's brother. Now he gets his brother's letter again, in which he had written that, until Richie does not come back, I will have to take care of mom and dad. He was worried about all this. He does not understand what to do. That's why he steals a car in anger and leaves the town. That's when the officer caught him on the way. When Richie tries to run, the police officer catches him and beats him a lot, because of which he became unconscious. Now Halloween night was about to come. That's why all the boys are locked up in their homes. And when Halloween night comes, they're all thrown out. Then they were running like crazy to hunt the centipede, because they were hungry for a long time. The farmer had also filled a lot of candies in the centipede's body, after which he also becomes alive. Here Richie, who had now come to his senses after the police beat him, his dad tells him that, look son, you have everything. Why do you want to go into this game of death? Richie's mom also joins hands in front of him, but he does not listen to anyone, and sits in a car with his friends and goes out to hunt the centipede. They were wearing drowning masks, but on the way, the centipede collided with their car. Now he was killing everyone one by one. He cuts 2 pieces from Richie's friend's necklace. Richie and his other friend were still behind the centipede, but suddenly, half of his friend's head disappears. Now only Richie was left. The centipede comes in front of him, seeing which he was scared and starts running. He meets Kelly and another friend of his. Kelly also wanted to hunt the centipede, but this was against all the rules, because a boy could never hunt a centipede. Richie tells him that we need a weapon, with which we can kill him. There Richie's coward friend runs and comes to his house, but his mom and dad do not let him in, because they wanted to hunt the centipede and win the prize and make their life easier. That's why they don't let him in. Then a boy who is standing outside the window. He tells Richie's friend that there is a centipede behind you, and this is what happens. Richie's friend sees him and runs away. He reaches the basement, where many boys were hiding. He tells them to open the door. Let me in too. But they ask him for money. But after a while, the boys decide that they should open the door and let him in. But they were very late in this decision. As soon as they open the door, the centipede grabs Richie's friend and cuts his jaw in 2. And then he goes inside the basement and kills all the boys. Blood was coming out, which the little boy was screaming while standing in the window. There, Richie and Kelly also reach the police officer's house, from where they steal his gun and drove his car and left from there. There was a strange atmosphere in the town too. Hungry, crazy boys attacked the store. They also killed the guard. The atmosphere was so hot. Everyone was thirsty for each other's blood. The centipede was also doing the same. He was also killing everyone. Richie and Kelly were also watching this secretly. Then the same boy comes to them, who was Richie's enemy in school. He used to trouble him. Now there was a fight between them. Kelly kills him and makes him unconscious. They again go in their car and sit. Then they get a message on the radio. Where is the centipede? Now they quickly reach that place. That centipede was in front of Richie. When his eyes go on the belt of the centipede, then he suddenly stops shooting at him. Then, when the centipede starts attacking them, then Kelly kills him and makes him unconscious, and brought Richie from there. They both sat in the car and reached Richie's house, where his mom comes to him after taking sleeping pills. This was given by the owner of the town, who used to give prizes on winning. As we saw in the beginning of the story, Richie asks his mom about the previous winners. He finds out that whoever wins, he leaves this town and goes, and then never comes back again. Everyone says that they are roaming the world and enjoying, but all this was a lie. No one knew what happened to those people after winning. Even if they know, no one tells. Richie understood. The letters that came to him from his brother, he used to send it to his mom, so that he gets courage. Actually, Richie's brother was dead. Richie's mom says, "Son, don't leave anyone." Richie's mom took her life by telling this. On the other hand, the centipede went to a house and burned it. That house was actually Richie and his brother's old house. Now you must have understood here. This centipede was no one else but Richie's brother, who won this game last year, which we saw at the beginning of the story. That's why Richie stopped after seeing that belt. Actually, it would have been the boy who wins. The owner of the town would give him a lot of money, and he was sent out to travel the world. Actually, no one ever went out of this town. The police officer would kill that boy on the way. Then his body would be used, and the next centipede would be made. That's why it was a rule that only one boy from each family can take part in this game. It means that in exchange of a life, all facilities are given to his family. But in the beginning, no family knew that their son will die, and the next centipede will be made. They knew this later, but even after knowing that family can't do anything, they were scared that neither will they go out of the town, nor will they say anything. All this work was done by the officer there. Then that family had to spend their whole life in the same luxurious house, which was given to them in exchange of their son's life. And they were also given medicines to sleep. Richie's mother also used to take these medicines. This means that Richie's father was stopping him from going to this game so that he can save his life. He was sad that his elder son left him just like that. But he could never tell this truth to Richie. Even now he was sad about his son's death. That even after his death, his soul is roaming in the form of centipede and is killing everyone. He has been revived by black magic so that he can be killed again. Actually, all this work was done by the owner of this town. He used to do this black magic every year to earn money, so that the government actually needs the help of this town. And he kept getting such money, for which he used to give some share to the winner. This was the whole truth of this town. We see that Richie's dad goes to the officer and says that now I can't hide the truth anymore from my son, on which the officer says, "You will have to do all this." Richie has Kelly there, who was telling him that you should leave this town. But in Richie's mind, his mom's last words were going on. She said that Richie finish everything. Kelly says that Richie, if we let the centipede go to church, then no one will kill him. This year, there will be no winner. And then this kind of sacrifice will also stop. Now Richie does the same. He burns his grand house. Richie was sitting there, who was completely quiet, despite knowing the truth. He does not tell Richie anything. Richie tells him that Mom has left us. Hearing this, his dad breaks down. Then the centipede also comes there. That means Richie's brother. A boy comes from behind and kills him. He came and fell near Richie, and signals that he should kill him. Richie, after knowing all the truth, realizes that this centipede is his brother. Richie kills him, and became the winner of this year, and according to the rules of the game, he is sent to travel the world. All the townspeople were very happy, because no one knew the truth. Now Richie's dad goes to kill the police officer, so that he lets Richie go from this town. But the officer and Richie's dad, there is a fight, in which Richie's dad fainted. There, Richie was preparing to leave the town with Kelly, but the road ahead is closed, and behind him, the police officer's car was coming. Seeing this, Richie tells Kelly to hide in the car, and also tells him, "If I don't come back in 10 minutes, then you leave this town alone and go." Now the officer comes to the field with Richie. The officer did not know this, that Richie knows all the truth. That's why he put him in talks and brought him here. But Richie kills the officer with his gun. After killing him, Richie felt that everything was fine, but then the farmer came from behind and killed Richie, the same farmer who used to make 100 camels here, and buries it in the grave, which was dug for him, means for this year's winner. After which Richie's dad reaches there, who could not save his son. But Kelly says to leave this town. Now the story is shown. 1 year later, when the farmer was taking out Richie's body from the grave and making 100 camels, that's when his dad comes there, who killed the farmer, and tells Richie, who had now become 100 camels, that burn the whole town and finish it. There will be no town, and not every year any family will have to sacrifice their daughter. We see Richie, who becomes 100 camels and screams loudly, means now he was going to burn the whole town. The story of this film also ends here.